Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. Today we're going to be talking about doing some collection updates, some goal updates, as well as some talk about storage and how I'm keeping my cards. A few of you have commented that you want to see how I go about that process, and so I will be glad to do that today. So yeah, we're just going to kind of get into it. So first and foremost, obviously the crown jewel of my collection. I've shared this card many times, so nothing new if you've been around for a while, but the most valuable card in my collection is the D23 first edition 2022 BGS 9.5 Gem Mint Snow Queen Elsa. This card is unique in the sense that it has 10 edges and 10 centering from BGS. If it got bumped to a 9.5 centering, it would be a pristine 10, which would make it incredibly more valuable. I will be doing a graded card review on this particular card to try and get it to a BGS 10. If I can't, then I will reslab it into PSA because the majority of my collection is PSA. And while I don't necessarily love the grading companies, I would like some consistency there. Some lore behind this card and why. Obviously passionate about it because it's an Elsa and it's a first edition, right? From a collector's point of view, very passionate about it in that sense. But this card holds a lot of sentimental value to me and my family because this was the card, the uncommon version of this card in the first chapter, is kind of ultimately the reason why I'm talking to you guys today. I've told the story before, but my daughter was home. It was right around Christmas break. I think it actually might have been right when she was supposed to go back, but she was homesick. And we were just kind of looking for something to do, and we decided to go to Target to pick up a couple packs of cards because I had some friends texting about it in a group chat, and I just kind of thought hey, what the heck, give me something to do. She was homesick, and so we went and got a couple packs. I think we got 5 first chapter packs from Target or something. Had never opened them, hadn't collected anything for a long time, wasn't regularly ripping any packs. And one of the first cards we pulled was the uncommon Snow Queen Elsa. And that, my daughter lit up like a Christmas tree. I mean, she was just giddy, Daddy, Elsa, Elsa. And she was just so happy. And I mean, she was just sitting there staring at the card. And me watching her stare at that card, and then all the nostalgia was just going off, and the amount of dopamine that hit me at that moment had to be record level, insanity. I immediately started thinking back to all the Pokemon days and Yu-Gi-Oh days, and just all of the amazing connection between the art and honestly, it was a wrap from that point. So she's sitting there looking at it. I'm looking at her look at it. I'm just smiling and happy. She's so happy. And then we just kind of went down this journey of I think the next day we went and got more packs. We didn't pull an enchanted. We went and got more packs. And I'm just a sucker for the art. I could sit here, and I don't do a lot of box opening videos, and when I do, it's typically sets that I've opened a lot because I mean, when my daughter and I open the boxes, we like to enjoy the art. We like to look at the cards. She's got her own binder. Obviously, I have some binders, and so we really soak it in. And so just her enjoying the cards, me enjoying the cards, it's been a cool way for us to bond. We open every set together, we collect it together, and so that's ultimately why I'm collecting this and kind of what's brought me to Lorcana. Now, obviously, I love it from an IP and from a future collectible value side of things as well. That's a part of it, without a doubt. Not saying that it's not, but it's kind of all of those things mixed together of why I'm collecting Lorcana and ultimately why this channel exists. So, the most valuable card in my collection, the most sentimental card in my collection. Amazing card. And then if I can get it bumped to a BGS 10, then some additional value there as well, as it would then be a pop 3. One of 3 in the world of pristine BGS 10 Elsas. Okay, moving on. We'll keep it trucking here. So, some cool rare cards in my collection. These are all 1-of-1s except for the Maui. So this Stitch is 1-of-1 miscut D100. So kind of just some errors. So it's hard to see through all the I have team bags on these and then the plastic overall, but these are cut off at the bottom. So the D100 promos are all shifted down here. So the Stitch is a 1-of-1. The Maleficent is a 1-of-1. They're all PSA 9s. And then the Maui is a 1-of-2. And this is one that I actually need to get reslabbed. It's got a crack in the slab. I have no clue when that happened or how it happened, but it does have a crack in it. So I need to get it reslabbed. But this one is a 1-of-2. So those are just kind of some weird error variants. I know not everyone's error collectors. I just like the idea of having some cards that are rare to me in my collection. So those D100 miscuts it's like no one else is going to have those. Now, in theory, they could go grade them, but in terms of the market right now, they've been one of ones for a long time. The Maui did move up to one of two. There is also an Elsa that I do not have. There's one Elsa, and there's one of the other ones. I can't remember if it's the Genie or the other. What's the other card in that set? I can't. Maleficent, Stitch. I can't think of the 6 card, but there's an Elsa or the other card that I do not have. There's 6 total. I have 3 of them. Next up is the BGS 9.5. This card is very, very hard to grade for those of you who have been around for a while. I love the D100 arts. They were kind of the first collectors cards that we got apart from the Enchanteds. So those hold a special place in my heart. I have a lot of them. You'll see them in the binder. I'm a huge fan of them. I think they look amazing. And this one is a BGS 9.5 that I need to get reslabbed to a PSA 10. This is a card that is, I think it gets a gem grade like 25% of the time. It is the hardest grade card in all of Lorcana, and it means a lot to me. I love the art on it. Obviously, Maui's an iconic character. I love the like kind of tattoos and just the entire feel of the card. It's very hard to grade. You guys know I'm a sucker for a good challenge, and so getting this in a PSA 10 would be a good accomplishment, as it is incredibly hard to grade. So we will rifle through some of these here. Moving up, next we're going to go through some promos. So there's some PSA 10s, PSA 9s, might even be some 8s in here. I can't really remember, to be honest. But we have the PSA 10. Mickey Mouse Musketeer. I've been trying forever to get PSA 10 copies of all of the Musketeers. I like the idea of having the 3 Musketeers in PSA 10. I am at like 4 or 5 9s of each of these. So I cannot get the Mickey, the Gamescom 2023 Goofy, or the Spiel Essen Donald Duck from 2023 convention. Can't get those at a 10. I'm probably gonna have to bite the bullet and buy them. I was able to get the Mickey. Lot of 9s in there, but that's in terms of like goals and short-term goals. Completing the 3 Musketeer set is definitely something that I want to do, and something that's in my short-term list. Moving on to obviously a couple cards that I've talked about a lot. The PSA 10 Stitch Rockstar Set Championship prize card. First trophy card in all of Lorcana. Personally, my favorite artist, one of my favorite arts as well, with the Stitch character, and Nicholas Cole. I mean, the attention to detail on this. Nicholas Cole is my favorite illustrator in Lorcana. Not to take away anything from the other ones. They have a lot of amazing artists. That's one of the things that I love about Lorcana. I feel like they express themselves in unique ways, and I'm starting to be able to identify which artist is illustrating which card. But Nicholas Cole is without a doubt my favorite artist. He's done a lot of my favorite cards, and Rockstar Stitch being one of them. When you look at this card in person, you're able to look at the attention to detail on the guitar. The colors pop with the gold background, and obviously a lot of provenance behind this card. So I'm a huge fan of this card. Love the art, love it. Definitely a mainstay in my collection. Next up, we have some D23 2024 Enchanted D23 promos of the BLT Mickey Mouse. We have a lot of those. Huge fan of this card. This is the first time the Brave Little Tailor artwork got the enchanted foil, which in my opinion was a huge miss. There is an Artful Rogue enchanted in set 1, chapter 1, the first chapter, which I've mentioned it multiple times, but that was a huge miss in my opinion. The Brave Little Tailor should have been an artwork in there. This is kind of the Pikachu of Lorcana in my opinion. It's on the face of the packs. It's on the face of a lot of the marketings in terms of the Brave Little Tailor. This is like the face of Lorcana. I would say Elsa's kind of the Charizard in terms of the biggest chase card, but in terms of like the face of the brand, like this is it. And the fact that we had Artful Rogue in the first chapter and not Brave Little Tailor. If I could change one thing in the first chapter, it would be it without a doubt. So moving over to some kind of less prominent ones to me, we'll just rifle through these. So we have the first band card in all of Lorcana, Bucky, Squirrel Squeak Tutor. That little squirrel raised a lot of created a lot of problems in the competitive scene. So we have Bucky, we have Hey Hey, which is one of the it's an errata error. So the text is wrong in the box. It's a PSA 9, but it is one of the first organized play promos ever awarded. So I love that. We have another D100 Stitch PSA 9, D100 Maui PSA 9, PSA 8 Mickey Mouse promo, another promo that was given out in the very first organized play kit, so awarded to league members. PSA 9, D100 Maleficent. I did say I'm a big fan of these, and I've been able to find. I'm winning PSA 9 auctions for a lot of these for like under $10, which at that point, give me them all. Mickey Mouse Friendly Face PSA 9. Elsa D100 PSA 8. I think I won an auction for this card for like $3 or $4. Gaston event exclusive, another one that I need in a PSA 10. Have a PSA 8. Flot Sam and Jet Sam. Ursula's Return. Was this Ursula's Return promo? Yes, it was. Ursula's Return promo. Says event exclusive. It was really the launch of the Ursula's Return set. Genie PSA 10 from D100. And then Bucky PSA 9 from, obviously, the organized play promo. Which Bucky was in, I believe, the second set of organized play releases. League promos. We have another Hey Hey. We have the Vanellope D23 PSA 10. We have the Mickey Mouse from the first series of organized play PSA 10. We have Flot Sam and Jet Sam PSA 10 from Ursula's Return. We have the D23 Cinderella Stout Hearted PSA 10. We have the Genie D100 PSA 10. We have the Ursula D23 PSA 10. We have the Flot Sam and Jet Sam PSA 9 and the D23 Oswald PSA 10. So that is the promo pile that I had set out here. Moving on to some set cards that we just have in inventory. Cinderella, obviously my favorite. If I would need, like, honestly, like, favorite art is hard to define. There's so many that I truly love. This is absolutely one of the most gorgeous cards in all of Lorcana. This card is a staple in my collection. I've talked about it a ton. For those of you who are new, this card is very hard to grade. Sub 50% gem mint rate. It is from the second set, Rise of the Floodborn, which in my opinion is the least printed set. The total pop on this card is like 700 right now in a PSA 10. We compare that to the Elsa from the first chapter. It's over 2,100 now. So there's like roughly a third to a quarter of leads in existence of the Elsa in a PSA 10 version. The card is very playable. It's obviously an iconic IP with Cinderella, and the artwork is gorgeous. So this is definitely one of my favorite artworks in all of Lorcana. And this is one that me and my daughter just frequently will look at and just take in, as it is. It's just magical. Moving through some of these, we have a Beast from Rise of the Floodborn PSA 10. We have an Ursula from Into the Inklands PSA 10. We have the Peter Pan with the Enchanted Text Error PSA 10. So it's got an extra bracket. Very hard to see on camera here, but there's an extra bracket in this font that does not belong. To my knowledge, I can't remember if there's a corrected version or not. I don't think there is a corrected version. Actually, it's Into the Inklands, so there might be. If anyone knows, and if anyone's still listening at 12 minutes here, is there a corrected version on this? I can't remember. I lean towards yes, because there was so much Inklands printed, but I don't know that for a fact. Madame Mim from Rise of the Floodborn PSA 10. Fun fact about this card, it is very hard to grade. There's not a premium on it. A lot of them haven't been graded, but it does get a gem mint grade a very limited amount of time, sub 50%. Alice Growing Girl PSA 10, little princess action there. Another gorgeous card with the blue kind of text box, blue on the dress, and then the blue kind of flowing throughout the card. Even down in the text box here, you can see you might not be able to see it on the camera, but some very faint light blue kind of flowers and just illustrations there. A gorgeous, gorgeous card. And then last but not least, I feel like one of the most undervalued cards, Simba. Just in terms of my childhood, 90s, Lion King, massive influence. And Simba, that artwork is gorgeous. And it's one of the cheaper first chapter enchanteds for Simba Return King. So we also have a PSA 10 discard. So you guys know I have an error collection. We'll show some of that in the binder. Obviously, I have the miscuts from the D100, and then I have several discard cards. I picked out my best one and submitted it with the last submission, and it did get a PSA 10. So a lot of you guys probably will think that's worthless or whatever, but I wanted to have a PSA 10 copy, and we got one. So that is it on the graded stuff. So let me set that aside here, and then I will get out. Sorry, there. I will get out some. If you guys can look at also while I get out some other stuff for us to look at here. Ah, throwing slabs. I wonder if that's how my D100 Maui got broke. Maybe. All right, some enchanted singles here that are not graded that I use in like decks or just prefer to have in the binder. And I guess I will say while um, while I'm talking here, the reason I used to have a lot more graded PSA 10 set cards, like I had the entire first, second set. I was working on the third set in a PSA 10 copy. But so many of the cards in Lorcana are very easy to grade. I personally am not the biggest condition collector unless there's a challenge there. And these cards were just getting a gem mint grade so often. Like, for example, the Elsa in the first chapter gets a gem mint grade like 76% of the time. And so, the majority of the time, that card's going to be in mint condition. And that just alleviates a lot of the pressure of the chase for me. And so, if it's an easy to grade card, I typically don't chase a PSA 10 copy. And so, my goals have kind of shifted from there. And so, now you'll see a lot more like higher end, just like raw singles in my collection because some of them are hard to grade. Now, this Cinderella, obviously one of my favorite cards. I play a lot of Steel Song. You can see it in the gold dragon sleeve shield there. Dragon Shield sleeve, but this card I've graded twice. It's got a PSA 9 both times, so this is just a permanent play copy for me now. But once again, one of my favorite arts in all of Lorcana. We have 2, and then Along Came Zeus's, which is a card that has a bunch of utility in the game, but I just think it's underrated from an artwork perspective. Obviously, historically, the actions and songs and items and things like that in the enchanted form do not hold the value that the characters do. This is the exception. Now, I think that it is mainly because of the playability. This card is very, very playable in the actual game. It does 5 damage to a chosen character or location, which is significant. But I love the art. I have loved the art since Inklands was announced. This was one of my favorite cards. This thing is electric. Zeus is doing his thing, and I just love this card. I think it looks very good, and then it fits perfectly within my Steel Song deck because it just makes a lot of sense. So There's some raw singles. We also have a Lady Tremaine in here, another card that I think is very playable, and one that I was surprised it was as cheap as it was for as long as it was. You could get this enchanted for like $60 just within the last couple months, and now it's shot up to, I think, close to $100. I feel like it was incredibly undervalued. The card's very meta. From a collectability standpoint, right? Like, I don't think Lady Tremaine is the best IP. I don't think that this card is necessarily the best artwork, but a card that in the game is very, very playable. I would definitely felt like it was undervalued when it came to the collector piece, just from a price standpoint. So next up, moving into the binders, I will start with all of my binders. I have a lot of them. I prefer the Ultra Pro. I can't remember the name of this particular one, but this one just has the Pikachu on the front. But it's just the Ultra Pro 12. Here, let me move that over here. 12. I guess pocket pages. These I double sleeve all of my cards and put them in here, and I have zero concerns about damage, zero concerns about wear and tear. These binders are very well constructed. They are very safe. The cards don't move at all. There's no rings that do any sort of damage. I would definitely recommend these binders. So it's just the Ultra Pro zipper, 12 pocket. If you go on the website, I'm sure you can find it. They have a lot of different colors. This one is obviously the Pikachu design, but they have just standard colors. I have a white one, a gold one, a purple one, a green one. They have all sorts of options, and they are very, very good. So starting off with the first page of my binder, we just have some more raw singles here. So we have the Elsa, obviously, in my opinion, one of the best artworks in all of Lorcana. I would say most people agree with me, as it is the most expensive card. But this card is magical. This is not necessarily for me, but one of the ones that I was most excited to get for my daughter. When this one came in the mail, I was very, very excited to show her. I actually saved it for a little bit. I can't remember exactly what we did or how I revealed it to her, but I did like a big reveal to her because it was just one that, like, I told her we would get it. But obviously she doesn't have a concept of money. She didn't know like how much it was. But it took a little bit, and we got it, and I did a big reveal, and that was really special. Another art that is just amazing. From the first chapter is the Stitch Carefree Surfer. You can see all obviously the enchanted foil, which just shines. The enchanted foil and the enchanted, the best bang for the buck in terms of overall presentation of any TCG, in my opinion. You can see obviously the little fish here with chasing Stitch's sandwich. He's surfing, got the wave crashing behind him. The art on this card is fantastic. Love this card. We also have the Wayward Sorcerer Mickey, which is, I think, a low-key card that could do very well. First Enchanted Mickey, obviously it has the Artful Rogue in this set as well, but when you compare these two cards side by side, the Wayward Sorcerer pops off much more than the Artful Rogue. We have the Belle, Strange but Special, another princess from the first chapter. We have the Genie, unique kind of lore for the Genie for you guys who may be a little bit newer. Historically, there are two prints of the first chapter. There's the initial print that began in, September of 2023? Yeah, 2023. And then there was a subsequential set that our reprint that came out in 2024. So far, there's only one way to identify. There will be people that say you can look at the cards and tell the difference. I personally can't do that. I've had graded copies of first print, second print, etc. I don't think there's a distinct way to tell. But with this particular card, the first printed version of this card, you can see the sword there. There are two swords. There's kind of like a shadow down below it, or it might actually be above it. I had one. I had a first print Genie. I actually gave it away to someone, but this would technically be second print because there is only one sword there. So you can go on eBay and look through copies, and if you can find one with two swords, that is confirmed to be the first printing of the card. And so this is a rare example of where first print Disney Lorcana may be worth it for this particular card because there's the provenance to prove that it is the older variant. The other variants, there is no way to prove it. PSA and the grading companies do not acknowledge it, and therefore there's no inherent value that comes with it. But that is the first chapter Genie. Moving over to Clarabelle, this is a card that whenever Shimmering Skies was announced, we started to get the Enchanteds. I was not a fan. But then I started thinking about the kind of lore with the set, the Shimmering Skies aesthetic, the party in the skies, going to the Great Illuminary. And as I started to envision the cards in that sense, they changed. And I think Shimmering Skies has some of the most beautiful Enchanteds. First chapter, definitely my favorite, but I think that the artwork in Shimmering Skies is slept on, in my opinion. Obviously, right now, Lorcana is very driven around the players, right? And so kind of the enchanted prices just fluctuate based on what's in the meta. As a collector, when I'm looking at these cards, the Shimmering Skies enchanted foils just look amazing. So shout out to the artists on Shimmering Skies. We have Goof here, which I think is cool because it's kind of like a lot of the Lorcana art, like when you look at some of these, like Stitch just kind of surfing, Elsa just, doing her thing, casting her spells, Mickey just kind of like looking at his staff, looks like maybe he's about to cast some spells, Belle in her library, right? There's not a lot of like, they don't really look like evil or that they're like getting ready to do some damage, right? Find another glimmer or, whatever. Goofy's the exception. He kind of looks like he's about to come down and hit you with the left hook. So I really like this art. I think it's very cool from Ursula's Return. And so that's just a cool card. We have the Robin Hood from Shimmering Skies as well. Once again, just a very, very gorgeous art and concept with Shimmering Skies. We have the Beast from Rise of the Floodborn, which is a card that's very, very affordable, but I love the attention to detail here with the castle in the background, the lighting, the rain coming down. You can even see a lot of the rain through the text box. I think that this card has a lot going on in the art, and I think it's gorgeous. And I just feel like these cards are not appreciated for what they are yet. Like I said, the price of these cards is very much driven by the meta of the game, and I feel like as more people get into Lorcana and they see how amazing these cards look, like in my opinion, every card in Lorcana is undervalued. Like I love these cards so much, and I think they look great. So. Another one that slept on, Shere Khan from Rise of the Floodborn, very, very affordable card, and a very, very cool card as well. And then Vanellope here from Azurite Sea, or no, from Shimmering Skies, rather. Once again, these Shimmering Skies, you can see Clarabelle, Vanellope, and Robin Hood, they kind of stand out a little bit more than some of the others. Maybe not so much in the binder pages, but just that Shimmering Skies aesthetic. Very, very cool. So that is the first page. Now getting into some Pokemon here in my binder. So this page is the 151 like illustration rare through special illustration rare. All three evolutions. Blastoise was my favorite starter back in the day. I actually used Charizard the least. I even like Venusaur more than Charizard, which I know is uncommon or a hot take, but I just didn't use Charizard as much as I did the others. I definitely had some iterations of the game when I played with Charizard and Charmeleon and Charmander, but overall I definitely preferred Blastoise and then Venusaur and then Charizard. But we have I like the idea of the 12 pocket binders, because obviously in Lorcana you have, for the first two sets, you had 12 alt arts or 12 enchanteds, and so I wanted to be able to have pages to display them, as well as when I'm building my master sets to have a non-foil and a cold foil version of every card. And so then the 3 pocket pages I would be off, right, whether I'm collecting the enchanteds, whether I'm doing master sets. And so then when a set like this comes out where a 9-page binder might actually be perfect, I decided to add in the full arts for each final evolution from 151, and I absolutely love this binder page. I don't really care if it's Japanese or English on the Pokemon side of things. Japanese is typically a little bit cheaper, so if they're comparable in price, I'll go English. You can see like I have the English full art Charizard, I have the English War Turtle, English full art Blastoise EX SAR, Blastoise EX full art, but then the rest are Japanese. I don't really care, to be honest. I think they look awesome. These arts look very good. My only complaint about these is that like Charmander is like 1% of this art. I definitely enjoy seeing the Pokemon more. So you can see the Squirtle, he's a little bit more a part of it. Ivysaur or Bulbasaur, a little bit hidden, but still very, very cute. And then when they get to their final evolutions, apart from Charizard, they kind of make up the majority of the card. I like to enjoy the Pokemon. I enjoy the art around them, but the Charmander and Charmeleon are just like, they're like so little of the actual card, which I don't love, but I do love them as a piece of art when you have all 3 of them next to each other. I think it tells a very cool story. So moving a little bit quicker, some more Pokemon side of things. I mentioned this many times. I have no connection to the new stuff. If it's not Gen 1 or Gen 2, I really don't have any connection with it. Not to say that that's wrong, right, or whatever, but that's just my personal connection with the brand or the IP. So we have the Sleepy Charizard into the Big Boy Charizard into the what my favorite like arts are the ones where they kind of tell a story. So like the Charizard versus Mewtwo battling. Love the other side of this card. You can do kind of a side by side like we did with the 151 SARs. Black Star Pikachu, Ivy promo, Fossil Pikachu. I think the trainer gallery cards are very, very slept on. I love cards that tell a story and have that full art concept, and I feel like these 2 cards do a great job of that. Very affordable, and I like them more like, honestly, like I like them more than some of the like prismatic evolutions like SIRs. Like I like these more, right? Call me old fashioned. I don't know. I love a lot of WotC cards too. So I don't know what that says about me, but love this Pikachu, I think from 151 full art. You know, it's this card I think looks very, very cool. I'm actually going to pull this out. I think this art looks amazing. Pikachu just looks so happy going about his day, going through the city. You can see the Growlithe and the Jigglypuff there. Love what Pokemon does with some of these arts. Think they look fantastic. From the 151 UPC, we have the Mewtwo overlooking the city, very dark aesthetic, look like he's about to do some damage. We have the Mew EX from the UPC, and then we did open one Surging Sparks booster box. So we have the promo and then the Executor EX. My favorite card in that set is the Alolan Executor EX SAR. I think that card looks gorgeous, looks like a Christmas tree. So we'll speed it up, guys. I could talk about this shit all day. We're already at 30 minutes. So another page of enchantments here. You can see my favorite on this page would probably be the Hercules. I love that art. I think it looks very, very good. Moving over to some of the promos. Obviously, I said I'm a big fan of the D100 promos, obviously being around since the beginning. As a collector, looking to get my hands on whatever I can. So you can see all of those there. We have multiple of those boxes as well that we have not opened. And then getting into the promo side of things. So I have this cataloged based on when the promos came out. So this is the first Organized Play season promo that came with the OP kit. So you have the... Did I not put the Cinderellas in here? My goodness, I can't believe I did not do that. I just realized it too. So you have the Mickey, the Yzma, and the she's in. Never mind, she's in the second kit. Hey for the season 1. Now, obviously, you guys saw that I graded a lot of these. So we have the Mickey Mouse Gen Con 2023, Goofy Gamescom 2023, Donald Duck Spiel S in 2023. I don't know what I'm going to do here. These cards are like anywhere between like $40 to $60 a piece. I don't really want to spend another, $300-400 to fill out this page. So I might change this up, or if they drop in price, I might add them back in. I have a lot of graded copies of these cards, but once again, my main goal with this set is to have the kind of PSA 10 Three Musketeers set, rather than binder copies per se. Moving into the Season 2 organized play, we have Cinderella, we have Bucky, we have Minnie Mouse, Wide-Eyed Diver into the Robin Hood. So that is the second set of organized play in the organized play kit. Then we get into some event exclusive promos. So we have the Gaston Arrogant Hunter. This was at a London Comic-Con, as well as like three or four other, maybe like 2 to 3 other events overseas. So an event exclusive promo there. Getting into PAX Unplugged 2023, we have the Rapunzel, we have the Pinocchio, and we have the 4 Dozen Eggs. These 3 promos between these 2 and the Rapunzel are some of the rarest in all of Lorcana. I think that right now these are very, very slept on. When you look at pop counts, there are very, very few of these out there. And so unless something changes and someone's got a 5-row full of these cards, these are incredibly undervalued for how rare they are. And so this is something that if you are interested in building a promo collection and you want to have cards a little bit more scarce, these are ones that I think are very fair at their current price between the Pinocchio, the 4 Dozen Eggs, as well as Rapunzel Gifted Artist down there in the bottom. Very, very rare cards for PAX Unplugged. Moving into the Season 3 organized play, we have How Far I'll Go. Very playable card, very cool art into the John Silver and then Jolly Roger. And finishing up with Kid Cloud Kicker for that series of organized play. Now, an interesting distinction here and something I want to talk about. We have Donald Duck here for the Into the Inklands exclusive. Now, they changed something here, and it's kind of subtle. People didn't really know what was happening, and it got a lot of us at the time. But these cards were originally event exclusive promos for an event in France at a show there, at a convention there. They were very, very limited, and they were going for over $100 consistently whenever they were first released. Us over here in the States, we couldn't get our hands on them because we weren't at that event, and so we were buying them on secondary, and the people that were there were kind of slowly trickling them out, and so we just didn't know about pops. We didn't know how few there were, and so a lot of us were going out and buying them. So like they were above 100. I did not pay that, but when these got down around like 50, I went ahead and got one. So I paid somewhere between like 40 and 50 for one copy. Now, what they changed with this iteration is whenever Into the Inkland started, they started doing a promo for the set. This came out as that event exclusive overseas, but then it became the Into the Inklands promo and started being given out at stores, started being given out at multiple different events, started given out at the DLC events, and even just like in-store events. And so then this card became, hey, this event exclusive over in France too, it's everywhere, which totally tanked it. I think now it's down to like $8 for a copy. But like I said, this card was going for over 100 very consistently. And they didn't give us an official announcement. I had to talk to a community manager over in Germany who said, hey, we're done doing event exclusives. They're now going to be worldwide releases. And so this was originally an event in, I think, Cannes, France, at like a PCS festival, and then it ended up coming out a lot. So good. They changed their strategy here with these, so the ones before that, why that's relevant, things like the PAX Unplugged and then the Gamescom, Gen Con, and Spiel Essen promos that we don't have here, they were not like that. They did not have that worldwide release. They were very event specific, which is why they hold a lot of prominence. Talked about that for way too much. Ursula's return promo off the back of the Inklands promo, or Jet Sam and Flot Sam. Another illustration of this was initially released for like going to DLC events and pre-registering. You were given this card if you went early and pre-registered. It then became the Ursula's return event promo, and so it was then widely available. Very similar funnel to here. It never had the $100 price tag, but was going for $30, $40 very consistently. Moving into the Season 4 organized play kit cards, Hidden Inkcaster into the Ursula's Lair. We then have Mickey Mouse, leader of the band, and Mulan, enemy of entanglement, which I'm missing. And that's kind of where my promos end, waiting for a lot of leads to shake out, and then I'll collect them from there. But we have the Prince John Villainous, we have the Kristoff from Shimmering Skies promo, we have the Stitch from Season 5 Organized Play, Nala from Season 5, Cheekcha and Finders Keepers from Season 5, and then we get into some of the Mickey Mouses and so on from there. I think that's pretty much it. What else do I want to show you guys? We've got... I saved some pages for the promos. We've got just some foil, Brave Little Tailors from the first chapter, half Hexwell Crown, first confetti foil ever released in Lorcana. This came in the Ursula's Deep Trouble quest box. I can't get good lighting, but this card shines like crazy in person. Not really the most collectible, like IP, item, character, etc. And so, who knows the long-term trajectory of that card, but it is a confetti foil, so I wanted to have some. And then error collection. So we'll stop here. We have a yellow discard, yellow border, and then 2 traditional regular font black discards. And then we have some crimps. These either have a crimp, a double name error. They're either off center. They might have a hollow line or hollow scratch, similar to like the old Wizards of the Coast days. So there's all sorts of errors in here. There's also errata errors. So all 6 of Lee's cards are erratas. They might have ink dots, etc. So we've got a couple pages of the errors. And then, what else do we have? Anything else back here? We've got some more Pokemon, just kind of some random stuff. And then on this page is, just some more random Pokemon. So that is my current binder. Now let's get into some of the storage stuff, and then we'll get you guys out of here. 35 minutes for anyone who's still here. You are a degenerate like me, and you love this stuff. So some like TCG related stuff I kind of teased. I've been a big fan of the Bitcoin magazine, avid proponent of Bitcoin. I definitely think it is the future. Not financial advice, do your own research, but I have been collecting their magazines. You can see I have copies back from 2020, 2021, and I've got just stacks of Lees. I always like to look through them, and then I put them in some plastic just to keep them safe. I think, not even no value perspective there, just I really, really like them, and they are very well made. So those are produced by Bitcoin Magazine, and there's a lot of really, really cool people that work there, and it's a really cool project. So finishing up with some storage options. So a lot of you guys have asked how I store my cards and how I go about keeping singles. So for my play sets, I have binders where I have copies of 4 in 9-pocket sleeves, and that goes through the entire set. So if you see them missing, then that just means it's in a deck right now. But this is how I store all of my play sets for the game. So I have 9-pocket sleeves, 4 copies in, and these big 3-ring binders. Keep them nice and safe, nice and secure. I've never had a card damage in there. I don't keep enchanteds in there. I definitely would not recommend keeping enchanteds in a binder like that. That's only good for like playset type stuff. I do keep legendaries and things like that in there, but just nothing that's like incredibly valuable. Those would go in the other binders. And then in terms of singles, so I mentioned this before, but I do. Wow, that looks incredibly grainy. Tilt it up here a little bit. My camera is bugging out. I keep all my singles in either 5-row, which I'll go grab one before we end the video. But I keep my singles in either troves like this because I do a lot of sales on TCG Player, and so I have them in order based on I have stacks of the first chapter, Rise of the Floodborn, Into the Inklands, etc. And then I have them by color. So obviously we have like Ruby going into Sapphire as the 4th and 5th color. I have one for Steel, and then I have some for Amber and Amethyst, as well as Emerald. So this is how I store my cards. I will typically put any cold foil or rare, super rare, or legendary in the back. So just so I know that if they get something that's rare, cold foil, legendary, I'll immediately go to the back there. If they are getting a traditional card, then it will be obviously in accordance with wherever they fall in the set by card number. So that is how I store my singles, specifically for TCG Player and ones that I'm selling. I think the troves make fantastic storage options. I'm a big proponent of those. And then let me go grab here. Look at some magazines, I guess, real quick. We have some PSA magazines here. So we have 2 of the serialized Brave Little Tailor arts. We have 0019 out of 1,000, and we have 0341 out of 1,000. We have two of the traditional Mickeys. We've still not got the pixie dust version. Cool Batman, Luke Skywalker, Deadpool. A very, very cool Blastoise PSA magazine. We have the One Piece PSA magazine. We did sell the card. We got a PSA 10. We sold the card for a couple $100. Leafeon, Ho-Ho, and then we have Olaf, Rayquaza, and Anna for our PSA magazines. I actually did not renew my PSA subscription. I Grading's getting too expensive. I think in the very near future we're going to see grading below $10, and I am just taking a break until prices come down. I might that might change, but for right now, that's my plan around grading. Let me go grab my 5-row. So, in terms of like singles and stuff like that, this is these 5 rows. I think they make great. They're not that good for graded. I have this one. This is the lightest one I have, so I grabbed it. Easy access. They're not the best for graded cards. You kind of have to like it bows a little bit. So I wouldn't suggest it for graded cards. I have some graded cards in here, but I would not suggest it. But it is great for singles. So like this is one that I use. This is my I need to sort these better and go through them, and so this is my just like kind of like I guess you'll call it like your junk box or something. Like they still need sorted for inventory. So I have, obviously these can hold any sort of, you could keep, cards that are going in decks in here. You could keep individual singles you need sorted. I use them for storage. So I have one that's all first chapter. So it's just a 5-row full of first chapter cards. And then I have the lid on top and I have it taped, and that's just, sitting there in storage, not being touched. I do the same thing with every other set, and it's a great storage for the cards. You can get them on Amazon. Just search 5-row, card holder or something like that, and you'll be able to find it. You can fit some, individual graded cards in here. Would not recommend it. It makes these other sides very thin. But you can see here, I still have some singles on this side, and they can still freely move. There's no like damage there or anything like that. So they can fit graded cards. Once again, I keep most of my graded cards in like fire safe, containers and whatnot. But at the end of the day, there are still, there's graded cards in here that fit. We can look through some of these real quick. We have a CGC 6 Fossil Hitmonlee. We have a 7.5 Hypno from Fossil. We have a Lapras Holo from Fossil. One of my favorite cards in all of Pokemon as I throw those slabs. The first ever secret rare in Pokemon was this card right here, Dark Raichu. Hard to see, but number 83 out of 82. First edition, our first edition Team Rocket. Another fun fact about that is this is the first time that English kind of got priority over Japan in terms of the card game. Obviously, the Pokemon IP originated in Japan, was native to Japan. We copied all of their releases and still do, but they did not have, and their Team Rocket said they do not have a secret rare Dark Raichu. We were the first ones to have secret rares, and it was this was the first secret rare in all of Pokemon. So, huge fan of this card. Probably will be one of the last Pokemon cards I ever have. That in combination with the Dark Dragonite. I love, love, love the coloring on this card and the illustration. Team Rocket had so many awesome arts in it. That set is very, very iconic. But a couple, vintage Pokemon for my Pokemon guys out there. We have a Gyarados. And then I don't know. We just have a bunch of slabs here. PSA 10 Lost Origin Gudra, PSA 9 Dratini from first edition Team Rocket, Dark Rapidash PSA 9 Golduck, Abra, Dratini, Psyduck, etc. We're not going to go through all those, but that is my collection update. So, we've got other stuff. It's just we've already been talking for 45 minutes, so. Other stuff to show down the line, but for now, that's where we're at. It's probably a good spot to end the video, and yeah, let me know what you guys think. Obviously, hop in the Discord if you want to share your collection. We're all building our collections together, and what I found is the collector side of things in Lorcana is just Lorcana is driven by the players, right? And the prices kind of fluctuate with the players, and a lot of the big content is around the game and the meta. And look, that's kudo to Ravensburger and the creators there. Um, they created a very, very good game, right? And so that's definitely going to get a lot of the conversation. But there are a lot of us that collect, right? And so if you want to share your collection, you want to share goals, etc., the Discord is open. And yeah, that is what we have for today's video, guys. So definitely, I got long winded there. 45 minutes is insane. I could have probably got through that in 10 minutes, but hey, cheers if you're still with me. So thank you very much, guys. I will be back with another video soon. Bye.